Everyone wants to get rid of their fears, but I will give you 5 reasons why fear is important and mention 3 common fears that we have in societies. So stay tuned, and by the end of the video, hopefully change your perspective on fear. Fear is one of the core emotions that humans are able to feel, and many other emotions originate from it. People do anything in order to alleviate pain, but very few are proactive in order to avoid it. Most certainly than not, when we search a topic on YouTube that will explain our problems, the damage is already done. But instead of wanting to get rid of fear, you have to ask yourself, what is fear? Why do I feel it? Another good question. Self-query is a straight way to understanding yourself even more. Anyhow, fear is an emotional feedback of your body as a whole, both your mind and body, to the real-time occurring situations that can be directly threatening to your life, your survival. In most cases, that feedback can mean only 2 things: stay and fight, or run and hide. Pretty simple, which is also referred to as a fight or flight response. In some instances, the fear can be so overwhelming that the person experiences paralysis, a frozen state. Fear was a primal attribute of taking care of business as a caveman, and is the biggest driving force in our day-to-day life choices. Those mechanisms are the same and hold true even in our contemporary societies. The idea behind human emotions haven't changed a lot during our evolutionary progression as species. What has changed though is the circumstances of our living conditions, and to what extent those emotions can be perceived as adequate and reasonable. Majority of human populations lives in big cities, megapolises, and thus the days of great danger, being beaten or poisoned, are long gone. Yet the participation of fear in our lives haven't decreased any bit. If we would analyze the living conditions of fellow humans, and the small things that can trigger that stingy feeling of fear, and compare to the lives of our primitive ancestors, the conclusion would be quite unsurprising. Ridiculous! Today there are very few reasons to really fear something. And if you have come so long in this video, you may ask, aren't you contradicting yourself? Making a video on the reasons why fear is important, and at the same time claiming that we shouldn't be afraid of anything. Well, good observation by you. But before clarifying that, let us break down 3 common fears in our day-to-day life. Fear of unknown. People hate change and are afraid of it because of uncertainty. Human mind is wired in such way that it makes us to gravitate towards the things that demand least effort. And being uncertain means that your energy expenditure has to be heightened. And diving into unknown makes you to become a student and go through a lot of tedious, demanding learning. Now imagine having that feeling when you're adult and perceive yourself as an all-knowing. Fear of rejection. Every time a person goes through a rejection, he or she is becoming a helpless child and feeling all alone, like a worthless nobody. The ego of a person takes huge toll, and for somebody who is not used to rejection, it can take a lot of time to recover. This fear occurs directly, blatantly, instantly, which we don't have any control of. Feeling that helpless makes us to think extra before subjecting ourselves to those type of situations. Fear of disapproval. It's when you fear to be disowned and lose the sense of lovability from your peers. Your tribe, your folks don't want to have anything to do with you. You lose authority, you lose influence, you become a nomad and feel dread of having to build up a new social circle from the bottom. You lose all credibility, you have zero integrity left, your sense of self is dead, you are not fitting anymore. None of these fears are a threat to your survival, which should give you a bigger incentive to face them. Remember earlier in the video when we established a so-called fight or flight trigger caused by fear? Well, there you go. It's a way of evolution to ask you, do you want to run and live another day, or do you want to stay, risk, and potentially grow better, faster, stronger? Fear pushes us to take action, and there's no one who can claim to lack fear. But if you can flip that switch deep in your mind and make yourself to face that threat, you will become bigger in any possible way. That is what we call bravery. And now, 5 reasons of why fear is important. It takes you to the next incremental level in evolution of your lineage, and the feeling of conquering your fears will be addicting. You will gain immense power by overcoming your fears and growing as a person. Growing happens slightly outside of your comfort zone. Facing the fear of unknown makes life that much interesting. You will never become complacent in the bosom of security. You become unapologetically fierce in your path of creating a profound life. When you become fearless, you will create new adventures. And lastly, you will gain ultimate abundant mindset, which is your tag of having fearlessness level 9000. When you are not afraid of losing anything, you will make the right decisions and follow your instincts. And finally, you are the driver and the fear is your fuel. Make sure it's the right type of fuel. Or saying, out.